Hello and welcome to Respect the Ball. It's your boy K, and I'm back again with these previews. I don't know why I just started. I don't know why I just did that. As always, guys. Oh, we're doing Senegal, guys. As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, turn on post notifications. Drop down your comments. And as always, guys, let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Yeah, guys, we are on Senegal, the Senegalese, the African champions. Can I call them that? For me, they are the African champions. I don't care about that debacle that happened. They are the African champions. And yeah, their coach, seems to, I want to touch on their coach for a bit. I think it's Paptiao. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but he understands Senegalese football. He plays football that is attractive. They played well at that AFCON. They were going for it. It was an even game with Morocco. He seems to be getting the result. I remember I watched that friendly way back to when they went to Wembley and beat England. So he is notching up these results. He is playing attractive football. He has the squad. Senegal could be some people's dark horses, and you know, I'm not gonna knock on people saying that. Not for me, really. I'm not that high on them, like in that level to call them dark horses, you know. But I think they are primed. I think they're a good team. I think they have exceptional players. Which I will highlight right now when I pull up the lineups. But the sky's the limit. I think for them, I could say that they could be one of the first African nations to really make it to a final. If they play really well, it's gonna be difficult in this group, obviously with Norway and France, but they could do something. I think they could do something. Let me just quickly highlight the key players and obviously pull up the lineups really quick. We have here in the lineups, we have obviously in goal, we have Edouard Mendy, Alali. I think they did back-to-back Champions Leagues. Solid enough goalkeeper from Chelsea, know him from Chelsea. Right back, they'll play Crepin Diata. I don't know if he's still playing at Monaco. Ezimnya. Ezimnya. But yeah, he just bombs up and forward. He's a good attacking. He was a winger before they turned him to a fullback. It's really an attacking fullback. I haven't watched much of him. I don't watch much of Monaco, really. Left back, toss up. I thought about Ismail Jacobs, but, when you gather the dates, I think he'll start Malik Diouf. I think he will start Malik Diouf. I did think about Ismail Jaikov because he is also, in the mix, but based on the data I gathered, it's Diouf, then the centre back partnership. It's old man Koulibaly and Musa Niakate. Koulibaly with the experience to lead Senegal to another World Cup. Niakate against Steady Eddie, you know, plays for Lyon. So it's a good partnership. They understand each other, which is key. It's not easy to find that understanding between two CBs, but they understand each other, which is key. In the midfield, they have Idrissa Kanage, who will work hard, run around the field, do the dirty work. He does the solid job in the midfield. Partnered up by Pap Gay from Villarreal. I think he's a good player. Exceptional player. I saw him score. He scored in that AFCON final. I saw him score a few goals for Villarreal. He's an important player for them. Then obviously the three up ahead of them are really what's going to set the world alight. I think I'll first touch on, Iliman Ndiaye. I love Iliman Ndiaye. I think he'll play in the 10 position, obviously. I think I love Iliman Ndiaye. He'll drift out to the wings, right wing, left wing. He's just a silky, silky player. If you love football, you love Iliman Ndiaye. He just takes these players on. I just love him. Then obviously on the side, I also love Ismail Assar again. So, just takes players on again. Exciting, fast, runs in behind. This team could cause a lot of teams problems, and obviously the leader Sadio Mane, one of the best wingers of my generation. In fact, you know, played well. I know he's a bit past it now. I've seen him. He hasn't put on the Superman cape yet for Senegal, but he still could. He still could put on that Superman cape. He is their number 10. He is their captain, so he wants to lead them out and show show by his play that he still got it. He still got it. Sadio Mane, and then up front, obviously. Nicholas Jackson, he will press. He will press. His finishing is suspect, but he will press. He will, his pressing is good. He just runs around. He's always in there. You'll find him in behind. He could do a solid job, and he could light up this World Cup. What's stopping him? This is the time for Nicholas Jackson to advertise himself for other teams because Pine not renewing his contract. He's out of favor at Chelsea. He needs to find a new team. This is your chance to advertise yourself, Nico Jackson. Come on, not chop a goal against France. You can do it. You can do it. But I do think, in essence, in conclusion, I do think this team can really scare France. And with Norway, it's an even game. it's an even game, 50-50 on paper for me, which I've given Senegal a slight edge on Norway, because that defense for Norway is not something to be, fond of. But in essence, they could shock France. I'm not surprised. Ivory Coast went to France. I know it's offensive, but shock them. I think Senegal could do that. They did it against England at Wembley. Then they could beat Norway. Iraq, I think, is an easy win for them. So in essence, I think their pathway to get out of this group is just to beat Norway, avoid defeat against France, or avoid heavy defeat, and just smack up Iran. I mean Iraq. Sorry for that. And it could be done. Don't knock this past them. They could do that, light up this World Cup with their front players who are exciting. The back line is an issue for me, old man Koulibaly, my concerns, but he does have the experience. He should be able to lead them out. And yeah, the sky's the limit, guys. This team could go far. They have the team, they have the depth. That's important. I think they do have the depth, in the bench. They could stop out some players, put in Lamin Kamara, who's exciting. Left back, you have Ishmael Jacobs, which I like. So you could swap out players and put in good players. So, and then the defense also Mamadou Sarr. So they do have the pieces, they do have the depth. This team could go far. Do not be surprised if Senegal goes far, you know. So yeah, as always, guys, if you enjoyed this preview, please don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, share this video. And as always, people, peace.